What is the difference between un and non? Making negative words in English. If you want to improve your vocabulary in English, one of the best things you can do is to study the most common prefixes and suffixes for English words. Knowing what they mean will not only help you to remember more words, but it will also give you the ability to guess the meanings of words that you haven't seen before. Today I'm going to talk about the difference between two prefixes, un and non. Both of them are used to make negative words, but their meanings have some subtle differences. Un has two possible meanings. The first meaning is the absence of a quality that is desirable. Un, in this sense, can be added to adjectives and adverbs, but it's rarely used with nouns. An example would be clean and unclean. There are no known uses of un and a verb with this meaning. When we use un with a verb, it has the second meaning, which is the reverse of an action. A good example would be lock and unlock. The first meaning of un comes from Old English, or English as it was before the 12th century. Un has been actively used to create negative adjectives since the 14th century. It is still very productive. When we say productive, we mean that un is still being used to make new words. The prefix non comes from Latin. It means to not be a member of a certain class of people or things. It can be added to adjectives or nouns, but not to verbs. An example would be non-Western. Anything that is non-Western is not a member of the class of Western things. Differently from un, non doesn't have an implicit value judgment. It simply shows membership. Let's look at some examples. Unchristian versus non-Christian. A non-Christian person is one who is not a member of the Christian faith. There's no value judgment. It's simply a statement about membership. An unchristian person is one who lacks characteristics that define a Christian person. There's a definite value judgment here. Unchristian has a strong implication that the person doesn't possess the virtues associated with a Christian. A non-Christian person is one who doesn't follow the Christian faith. A non-Christian can be a virtuous member of a different faith. However, an unchristian person is one who lacks the desirable virtues of a Christian. There's a strong implication that the person lacks moral virtues. Unnatural versus non-natural. Non-natural means something that is outside of nature. For example, a synthetic flavoring could be called non-natural. Anything that's produced by humans and that would not occur naturally could be called non-natural. Unnatural means something that does not follow the rules of the natural world. Unlike non-natural, there's an implication that the natural rules are being violated. For example, many people now believe that keeping a wild animal in a cage is unnatural. The implication is that keeping a wild animal in a cage is a violation of the natural order. In summary, when we use un to create a negative word, we mean that there is an absence of a quality that's desirable. There's an implicit value judgment with un. When we use non, we mean that something is not a member of a certain class of people or things. Non is simply about membership in a group. There's no implicit value judgment. Thank you for listening. This is Christine from Difficult English Explained.